Welcome to the Pursuing Freedom Outdoors podcast, a place where backcountry warriors can share their stories of grit, service, healing, and wilderness adventures. I'm your host, Tom Walton, Marine Corps veteran, full-time cop, and aspiring hunting and fishing guide. Join me and others as we journey from the hood to the woods in pursuit of freedom in the outdoors. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 15 of the Pursuing Freedom Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Tom Walton. On this episode, I am joined by John, who really doesn't need any introduction because he's been on the show several times, but he is from Northwest Spur Chasers with his YouTube channel, Instagram. A lot of people follow him. John, you're practically a co-host, buddy. Welcome back to the show.
Great to be with you, buddy.
Absolutely. And today, John and I are both joined by an exceptional and inspiring outdoorsman, Jagger. Jagger's from Libby, Montana, and was born with spinal bifida, which I'll let him explain, but essentially it means he has no use of his legs. Despite his physical challenges, nothing slows Jagger down. He hunts elk and deer, chases mountain lions, and traps wolves. However, Jagger's greatest passion is chasing spring gobblers in the mountains of Northwest Montana. Jagger and John connected years ago, and together they have walked an amazing journey of friendship and getting Jagger more freedom in the outdoors. Without further ado, welcome back, John. And Jagger, I am honored to have you on the show, buddy. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, the pleasure's all mine. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Obviously, I've known you long before the show started, and you and I have gotten a chance to meet a few times in person. I've watched the videos on YouTube, and like I said, you're an absolute inspiration. You're vibrant personality, that you're fun to be around. You're passionate about turkey hunting. So enough of me talking about you. Let's dive into Jagger. Jagger, let's just go ahead and start, because I think an important part of your story, I think you would agree, not that you're a man that wants sympathy, but just tell us about your diagnosis and, you know, what it is and what implications it's had on your life.
So, with me being born with spina bifida, as you said, I basically don't have any use from the waist down, or very little, I should say. With that, I also walk with arm crutches and ankle braces.
Gotcha. And has that been a lifelong ailment?
Yes, sir. 22 years.
22 years. So you're 22 years old.
Yes, I am.
Outstanding. Well, for 22 years, you haven't been able to have use of your legs, but it doesn't seem to have slowed you down or reduced your motivation. It looks like you've managed to still live a very meaningful life with what you got going on, especially in the outdoors. And so when did you start hunting?
So I hunt everything. I actually started hunting when I was 12 years old, and I've killed deer, elk, lion, and as you all agree and know, turkey hunting is where it's at.
Awesome, man.
Who first took you out, Jagger?
So deer hunting, big game hunting was with my dad and my great grandpa, but turkey hunting was actually one of my good buddies from the church that I go to.
Awesome. What did you go out and hunt first? Turkey, elk, deer? What was the first thing you went and chased in the woods?
Actually, turkeys was the very first thing I ever killed.
That's awesome. So turkey started it all.
April 9th of 2016, I killed a double beard. That's where it started.
And you've been hooked ever since, man. That's awesome. So, Jagger, with all of that being said, you've been hunting now. If you're 22, you started when you were 12, so you've got 10 solid years, some great experience in the outdoors, in the woods. It's just out of curiosity, how has hunting helped you with the challenges that you face in life?
It's taught me a lot of patience, how to overcome. Just, it's taught me a lot.
That's fantastic, man. So it helped you a lot with just giving you some grit, because I think that's how I would describe you. You're a man of grit that just pushes through any obstacle that comes your way. I mean, I've watched videos of you climbing up mountains and embankments on your hands just to chase a turkey. I say just to chase a turkey, but we all know that it's all about the gobble, especially for Jaggers. Yeah, that it seems like it's really given you a lot of drive and motivation in life.
Yes, it has.
Awesome, brother. Hunting being such a major part of your life, what is it, when you think of the outdoors and public lands, what do they mean to you?
I just, I love being in God's country, seeing what He created, and just being out there.
Amen, man. Amen. Yeah. I mean, couldn't do it without His creation, right?
No, sir.
Do you think one type of hunt is more difficult for you than others, Jagger? I mean, if you had to compare them all, turkey, elk, deer, mountain lion, which ones bring different kinds of difficulty into how you deal with it, or preparation even, clothing, everything? Details that people don't know about.
They all have their own challenges and difficulties, but I will say one of my most difficult hunts was the lion hunt I went on in 2022 when I killed my first lion. And the reason that was so difficult was just fighting the deep snow.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough for me going out in the deep snow, whining and complaining.
No kidding, man. And I can testify, to the difficulty of lion hunting in the Northwest in the wintertime. I think the first time I met you in person, Jagger, I was out lion hunting and ran out to Libby because I was up in far reaches of North Idaho and met with you in person. But, I mean, when you're lion hunting up here in our neck of the woods where I hunt and where you hunt, they're pretty much the same type of country. And it's big, steep mountains with lots of blowdown. And you have to follow the dogs. We use dogs. And so just to kind of describe it to people, we get on a hot track, what we would describe as like a fresh lion track, and we do some work on it to make sure it's, we kind of have a really good idea how close we are to the lion, what general area the lion's in. We don't just there's a lion track and send the dog on it. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So once you finally find that good track and you kind of work it up and you say, all right, we're going to send the dogs, everyone's like, well, dogs make it easy, right? It's like cheating. But I think Jagger can probably attest that, man, once the dogs go, that's when the work starts, right? Those dogs go, and at some point when they tree that cat or bay that cat, Jagger, did the dogs bring that cat back to you, or do you have to go wherever those dogs go and get that cat?
You have to go wherever the dogs go, and the dogs help, but it's work, but it's worth it in the end. It really is.
Absolutely. I mean, and those dogs and those cats end up where you when you're standing there, you're like, please don't go down there. And that's, of course, and I'm talking about big, steep drainages all the way to the bottom, way steep snow. And I know I have 2 great legs. I'm bringing trekking poles, and you get nervous. I mean, you can't see what's under the snow. I'm worried about breaking a leg. I'm worried about, when I guided clients breaking legs. It's dangerous to go down there. So I can't imagine how you did it with spinal bifida, not having legs, trying to use crutches or just crawl. Describe that experience a little bit for us.
Do as much walking on my crutches as I could, but I tell you what, when it's steep and the snow's deep, you throw the crutches to the bottom or hand them to a buddy, and I just slide down or crawl up.
Man, do you,
slide down.
Do you have special types of clothing that you prefer when you're doing all this? I mean, we're always thinking about how we're going to get through our hunts with different clothing, but I would think for you, it's got to be totally different.
Climb snowmobile gear is keeping me in the woods during the wintertime. I tell you what, it's expensive, but it's worth it because there is nothing like climb snowmobile gear.
Gotcha. That makes sense, man. I mean, not only do you have to keep warm and dry, but I mean, you have almost a full body to worry about with crawling through the snow. So I can only imagine, man, one of the more difficult hunts I've done is a lion hunt in deep snow. So like I said, I have a functioning body. So my hat's off to you for doing that, brother.
Appreciate it.
What about the lion hunt stands out to you as a highlight?
just getting to watch the dogs work, see how incredible they are, and then getting to, stand underneath that tree and see the magnificent creature, because lions are actually really super unique.
Absolutely. How so do you think?
Just the ways they act, and that thought in the back of your mind, knowing at any time you're standing here, that cat could bail the tree, and dogs are not. You don't know what that. I mean, honestly, some go up because they're scared, but even so, they have a protective side, and if they come down pissed off,
game on.
Anything can happen, right? Yeah, absolutely. Just while we're on the topic of the lion hunt, man, what kind of weapon were you using?
Mossberg 30-06.
Nice. Solid choice, man. Were you open sights? What kind of optics were you using?
Scope.
Scope. Right on, man. Difficult shooting up in the tree?
Not at all.
How did you find the shot? No, nice and easy. And then for the lion, what did you do with the lion? Like rug for taxidermy? Did you keep the meat?
I got a European of the skull, and we cut up the meat.
Nice, man. You like mountain lion meat?
I love it.
How would you describe it? I know how I would describe it because I love it too. How would you describe it to the listeners?
It's honestly almost like pork. It's
absolutely
white meat.
Yeah, I would agree. Pork. Amen. Yeah, I would agree. I had a feeling that's what you were going to say, but yeah, I would say mountain lion. It's kind of actually one of our favorite meats in the house. Whenever we don't get it very often, but it's good, man. It's like a nice change, like you said, because it's kind of like the other white meat, the other white meat. John, I've made it for you. I think we had, what did we have? Chili verde? Is that what I made that one time?
Yeah, that was so good. So good.
Yeah. Yep.
People are like, why would you eat cat? And I'm like, well, I honestly thought that at one point too, but until you try it, it's awesome.
Right. Yeah, I gotta say, man, after having it over at Tom's house, when I got home, I was checking out the neighbor's cat pretty close, man. I mean, it was like, we could work our way through the neighborhood and bail some meat up.
Now I know where when all your neighbors are calling in missing cats to dispatch. I know. I'll keep that our secret, man. That's funny.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. To me, I don't equate them. Really, to me, it just doesn't compute like cat, lion, house cat. But I mean, on that note, when you do get up close to a lion, I've handled dead lions, I've handled live lions that are tranquilized, and they are just big cats. There's no doubt about it. The structure of their face, their nose, their paws, it's pretty wild. After the first time I handled a mountain lion, my opinion on just my house cats was kind of changed a little bit. Just they're pretty impressive animals. So. But yeah, well, good deal. That's good story. I really appreciate that, man. I like lion hunting, and it's a cool scene because it's snowy and cold. But moving on. So Jagger, we talked about all the hunting that you like to do, but let's get to your passion, man. You are a turkey hunter through and through. You are Turkeyslayers406. Your email is themightyturkeykiller@gmail.com. I hope I don't blast it out. If you want, we can edit it out. But I have a feeling you like inspiring people and taking questions. But, I mean, your identity is turkeys. So why turkeys?
Because, man, when they come in at a full strut, just hammering their heads off, you get to watch their head change color. The ground starts to shake, your heart starts to pound, and there is no feeling like it.
Amen, man.
He is hooked.
Yeah. I mean, just watching your face light up, you talking about turkeys is spectacular, brother. I love it. So, Jagger, you've been hunting turkeys. That was the first thing you hunted. What's some of your highlight turkey stories, man? You got some really good. Whether or not you killed the turkey at the end, man. Give us a couple of Jagger turkey hunting highlights.
So, one of the ones that's my favorite is in 2023, I got to, and as John knows, me and my Uncle Jeff, who started Turkeyslayers406 together, I got to take him out on his very first turkey hunt ever. And as John knows, Jeff, he's a big game killer. Killed big bucks in Oklahoma, bull elk in Colorado, comes to Montana, elk killing machine. And for years, he is like, I am not hunting turkeys. Turkeys are dumb. They're all over. They shit everywhere. I want nothing to do with them. I said, you got to go turkey hunting with me. It is a game changer, and it is a blast. And we pondered back and forth for years. And finally, one day in 2023, earlier that year, he goes, I want to go turkey hunt with you this spring. So we went out, and it was actually a place that I'd never turkey hunted before, but he'd rode horses in there a few days before and said there was just turkey sign everywhere. So we went up there and drove. We do a lot of driving, thousands of miles, as John knows, stopping every so often, doing a locator yelp, trying to get an old bird to gobble.
And Montana's big.
Montana's big, got a lot of ground to cover. And we'd stop every so often and yelp and didn't hear no responses. Get to the top of the mountain where it was getting just enough snow that we should probably turn around so we don't get stuck. Because early spring, yes, we still have snow around here up high. So we stop and go to turn around, and Uncle says, I got to jump out and go to the bathroom. So he jumps out, and within 15 seconds later, he comes running to the truck, and he says, we got to go. There's a bird down there, and he won't shut up. He's gobbled 3 times since I've been out of the truck. And I'm like, no, there's not. We just drove right through there and didn't hear anything. He goes, there's a bird down there, and he's gobbling hard. So we drove down to where we thought he was and got out. And at the time, before I got into this hardcore and now I have more turkey calls than I know what to do with, I had like a $20 box call from Walmart that I've acquired from somewhere. Don't even remember where now. So I got out and yelped, and sure enough, they gobbled. Well, back in them days, unexperienced, really didn't know what I was doing at all. I thought they were down below the road. Actually, we both thought they were down below the road. So we get down there, and actually, it's the same place that I killed my bird in 24. So, as John will tell you, it's steep.
Yeah, it's steep.
Get down there, and again, at this time, was no good at all. Still really ain't good with the diaphragm. But I wanted to pull out a diaphragm so that way I could have my hands free and start slowly working this bird to the best of my knowledge. Well, I get down there, and I realize I have no turkey diaphragms in my harness. The only diaphragm I had was a Dirk Durham, the Bugler Phelps diaphragm, which is his elk diaphragm that he came out with. And it was actually in there from the previous fall. And I'm like, well, when duty calls, duty calls. So I pulled out the old Maverick and I started yelping. And 2 jakes came in on a string. And they were actually up above us, across the road, and up above on top. So I called them all the way down across the road, and they came down the backside, just gobbling every 10, 15 seconds. And Jeff looks at me and he goes, they're coming. And I says, you're going to kill a bird. And started calling, and next thing I know, I'm like tucked behind a tree, don't want to be seen. And Jeff goes, they're right there. There's a red head. So I poked my head around. I says, yep, that's a Tom. I said, shoot it. Kaboom. Bird goes flopping. Walk up there, and it was a Jake. But I tell you what, that was my uncle's first redhead, and that's where it all started.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great, man. And some of your guys' videos kind of capture a little bit of Uncle Jeff's attitude as far as big game, and without him even necessarily being super involved. Because I remember a video, I think came out this year, right, John? It was you released it this spring, so it would have been a couple, last year, the year before hunt. But I remember you guys were making fun of Uncle Jeff because he's wanting to go bear hunting, and meanwhile you guys sitting there turkey hunting, and you guys had quite an encounter with the black bear. Is that right, Jagger?
What, John? Maybe 10 yards?
Yeah, I'd say it was it's not even on film as good as it actually was because I had to put the camera down. Like, we can talk more about that, but yeah, 10 yards, I would give it that.
He handed me the camera and said, "Have the gun ready. I gotta scare this before it gets problematic."
Yeah, and
Well, I mean, I got Jagger with me, and I'm thinking, man, I'm responsible for this guy. And I hardly knew you at that point. Uncle Jeff's like, well, keep a tight eye on him. I'm thinking, this is all I need is a bear mauling this guy. I'm taking down a bear.
oh man, that's great. Yeah, that was pretty cool, but that's awesome, man. So Uncle Jeff, he's obviously a common theme in your life. Tell us a little bit about who he is and to you and why he's such an important person in your life.
He's honestly one of my best friends. He, like I said, we started turkey hunting together, and he's always there. I don't know of a turkey hunt I've went on without him in the last 3 years. He goes down to Idaho with me, went down to Washington with me. He's always my sidearm, and he's always been there when it comes to turkey hunting and just in life. And, I'm always there for him. If he goes on a work trip, I go over and check the horses or, I do whatever, check the mail, whatever he needs.
That's fantastic. That's special when you can have a strong familial male relationship like that. I think it's really important for men and young men, and the fact that you have him and he has you, man, it's really special. And I've gotten to meet him and talk to him. Actually, talked to him recently, and he's a pretty incredible dude, man. So both of you guys are fantastic humans. Like, big shout out to Uncle Jeff.
And just getting to be there when he killed his first bird. Like, I love killing these things, but watching him kill his first was next level.
I bet, man.
And then 2 days later, we actually went out again, and I got one just on the opposite side of the ridge.
That's fantastic. You guys are getting after it together. It's just the coolest. Yeah, like I said, big shout out to Uncle Jeff. I hope he'll come on the podcast one of these days. So yeah we get it, man.
Have on for sure.
Absolutely, and for a lot of reasons.
And then this year, opening day again, located a bird, slipped in on him, and actually, we may or may not have, because of terrain, slipped in too close, but we could actually visibly see the birds before we started calling.
Oh, wow.
And it was a Jake and a Tom with 3 hands, and he got set up in front of me 50, 60 yards. I got set up behind him, and we actually had his dad with us, which John's met his dad too in 24 when we did that film. He drove all the way up from Mexico to be here with us, so that was pretty cool.
Wow.
So we had his dad with us, and I started yelping on the box call, and they turned their head and they'd gobble, but they had those hens there. They weren't moving. So they just stood there and strutted, and getting to watch that strut show and that anticipation of what are these birds going to do next, because that's always a thought in the back of my mind. What are these birds going to do next? And they're gobbling hard, and they're all fanned out, and just that adrenaline rush, that excitement. And I knew I had to do something because what I was doing wasn't working. So I slit the old box call down and pulled out a slate, and I yelped 3 times on that slate, and it must have just been the pitch change because that Jake turned his head, put his tail fan down, and came in on a string. And my first thought was, well, that ain't good, because if we get busted by this Jake, we're done. And that Jake didn't get 45 yards, and I heard kaboom, and we can't stop the flop.
I love it, man.
And so just
Uncle Jeff.
What's that? Sorry.
Uncle Jeff's the Jake killer.
He's the Jake killer. Well, no, I take that. He as John will tell you, he killed a giant down in Idaho this year.
Nice.
I was actually I wasn't jealous, but I was kind of jealous that I didn't get to be up close and personal and see it, because that was a good bird.
Nice, right on.
Yeah.
Congrats to Uncle Jeff.
And just even opening day this year, just to see the pure smile on his face. Yes, it was a Jake, but just to see the smile on his face to be together and kill a bird, it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, John and I were talking about this morning. We were kind of chatting when I was driving into the office, and we both came to the conclusion that there's no such thing as just a Jake, right? It's not about the bird, whether it's a Jake, a Tom, half-inch spurs, two and a half inch spurs. What it is, it's about the hunt that got you to that bird, and that's what makes it special. Sometimes it's just you get the turkey that presents itself to you, and you make a decision one way or the other. But if you're satisfied with the hunt, that's what matters. It's not whether or not it's a Jake or a Tom, and especially out here where our turkey populations are sky high. I just want people to have fun.
I actually made a post about this a few weeks ago on my Instagram. It's not about whether we kill anything or about the trophy. It's about the experience together and the memories we make.
Yeah.
Amen. And that's 100% what we go out to do. I love it. So we got to hear a lot about turkeys, and we're going to get more into turkeys. This is going to be a very turkey heavy show. But kind of want to move on over to John, just for your story when it comes to Jagger. Let's just start with, how did you connect with Jagger?
Well, it's kind of good that Jagger's here because he can fill in gaps that I might not have from his perspective too. But I mean, for me, it's pretty typical social media. Someone reaches out, and Jagger did at one point, and I think just being social and saying hi back. And after a while, Jagger kind of started to stand out a little bit, and I started asking more questions. Is that right, Jagger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kept, poking and prodding to find out who this guy is, who's being somewhat persistent, for those who know Jagger.
Well, I'd like to ask you that. So when me and Uncle Jeff started doing turkey hunting together, he made the comment to me that I should start doing YouTube videos. Well, I know nothing about YouTube, but I know Instagram. That's why I started Turkeyslayers406 on Instagram, was to share some of my stories and our pictures on there, not knowing where it would bring me and bring us today. Well, when I started my Instagram, the first thing I did, as always, I went and started looking for turkey hunting pages and people who turkey hunt, because turkey season's only 46 days a year, but I live it 24/7, 365. I want to see birds and dead birds all the time. Well, it wasn't long and it wasn't hard to find Northwest Spur Chaser. So then I started watching his Instagram. This guy kills birds every year, all year long, and if he ain't killing, he's calling for someone else to kill a bird. This guy he's onto something. He knows what he's doing. And when I look for somebody to follow, I want someone that knows what they're doing. Well, then shortly after, I found Northwest Spur Chasers YouTube. And after about 7 videos back to back all night long, I was hooked. I had to meet this guy. I had to connect with this guy, and I wanted to learn something.
Wow, I'm humbled. I mean, seriously. Yeah, it's always fun to hear these backstories because you just don't know that part. All I know is the part that seemed like a very decent person. I started asking you some questions about, the disability that you have. I wouldn't call it disability at all, but for the sake of listeners, I'll say that, and then you started telling me, I'm like, man, there's a story here. And, as a YouTuber and someone that's always trying not to just point fingers at himself, but always looking to see, who has God brought into my life recently. And I'm like, yeah, there's a story here to be told. And I decided, let's make this happen. Tried to do it the first year. Life was already kind of set up and too busy. And we made some preliminary plans. And hardest part is just seeing it through. Tom, how it gets when the season's rolling. You're moving from one thing to the next thing. And it's hard to fit things in. But I'm like, man, I got to make space to do this. And I didn't know I was getting myself into. I had no clue really whatsoever. I'm going to drive up there and meet this young man and get out in the woods and do a turkey hunt. To me, it's like, that's all I need to know. But, yep, the family was there. And that was cool because they didn't have a clue who I was. I could have been some dirtbag. I am kind of a dirtbag at times, but, Anyway, we got to meet the family, got to say hi to everybody. Everybody wanted to know, like, so why are you doing this? What's the backstory? What are you trying to get out of this?
Suspicious.
Nothing. Yeah, as they should be, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But, it didn't take too long to just tell the truth, speak your heart, hang around a campfire. And I'm like, I'm just here because it's an opportunity to give back, an opportunity to reach out, meet a great person with a great story, and try to find a way to make it unfold. And we did. And I had no clue what I was in for, or how difficult it would be. At first I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go do a turkey hunt. And then I'm like, ooh, I got to kind of change my tactics here. I got to back up and be more prepared. How am I going to get this guy in a position to do what we normally do when we can just jump on the other side of a tree, and sit down really quick and be ready with the gun up? There's obviously a little bit more to it, but I mean, not that Jagger can't make it happen. He makes it happen. But, there are some slightly more difficulties too, right, Jag?
There is. But
yeah.
I do want to say this for the listeners listening. If you don't already, go check out Northwest Spur Chasers YouTube, because if you're as passionate about turkeys as I am, you will learn start to finish on the do's and the don'ts, and there is no hiding anything. He shows it how it is, and I really respect that about him, because he shows everything.
Yeah, especially when I miss. I love showing that.
Hey, that's going to be on my film this year, and I ain't even ashamed to admit it.
No, but the look on your face was epic.
It happens, man. And yeah, Jagger, on that note, you're 100% right. I mean, John, you show the wins and the losses and the slugfest and the grinds, and that's one of the things that I think brings a lot of value to your show. And kind of on the note of slugfest and grinds, man, if I remember correctly, your guys' first hunt was an absolute grind. Because I remember John telling me, like, I'm going out to Montana. This spot should have birds. And when he came back, and I think I got some like update text in between when you guys were out there, and it was like, this is hard. There's no freaking birds.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I know. Yeah. So just between the two of you guys, give me kind of like the rundown of that first hunt, because I think it just, between the video and just your story, it showcases a lot of the grit that Jagger displays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going out there with the mentality that, we live in the Pacific Northwest. Turkey hunting is going to be easy, relatively. I've hunted Idaho before, and I'm gambling on the fact that they know where they're going and they know what they're doing already.
I really didn't.
Yeah, I found that out.
I mean,
well, it's not that you didn't know what you're doing. You picked an area that you guys love to go into. But, I mean, we're used to seeing much higher numbers and concentrations. And, man, when you get into a valley of Montana that you get up on a high look and you can see forever from valley to valley into the next one, knowing that it could literally take, just a week alone to get into the pieces of what I'm looking at. And we got spoiled the first night there. This is the funny thing. The first night there, we're coming around a corner, and there's a Tom strutting in the road with a couple of others and a few hens. And I'm like, whoa, awesome. We're only 15 minutes into the first time out, and we're into turkey. So I'm thinking things are normal. And we back up, and we work this gobbler on the way to the roost. And, that is, they're not going to turn around and come back. And we made as many moves as we could on him. And his hens are dragging him off. And I'm thinking, all right, awesome. We'll come back in the morning. We don't even have to come back here because obviously there's birds everywhere. Man, that was probably the only bird in the entire 12 canyons of back road Montana, driving all day, every day, that we found. And it just turned into a 4-day grind, day after day, calling it to every canyon, working boxes, cruddy weather, freezing temperatures, 18 degrees, wind, rain. I mean, everything that Montana can throw at you, it was thrown at us for a turkey hunt. Go ahead. Snow too.
Should we mention that the first night you were here, we were literally like 65 degrees in, light clothing, and the next morning we're in raincoats because it's snowing and 7?
Yeah, it was 27 was the high for the day. Wind was blowing everything sideways. Yeah, we were out the evening before in T-shirts and, just trying not to get too hot. Perfect. It's beautiful weather. Turkey's gobbling. Life is good. Nah, not so much. Yeah, so that just kept going. And I'm realizing, holy cow, I got a serious challenge because I came here not just to film Jagger, but of course to, to film a turkey hunt. And I'm like, well, I got gobbling the first night. I'm scratching big zeros the next couple of days, weather and no gobble back. Everywhere we went, making noise, calling every 10 minutes all day long, 8 hours a day. Nothing in the evening, nothing in the early morning light at the top of mountains, listening with dead silence in canyons forever. And I'm like, oh my God, not a single gobble anywhere. Like, this is not looking good. So you want to add to that, Jag?
It was a grind.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know what else to say other than it was a grind.
How did it?
So
how did you guys overcome it?
With good campfire chats in the evening, high hopes starting at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and the never-ending pursuit of the gobble. I mean, really, it's just drive and call, man, drive and call, because out there you can do a lot of road calling, really into canyons forever, and you don't have to go far to get an echo back if there's one there. And I don't know, the weather was killing us too, so there might have been birds more than I even realized, but it wasn't until that last day, man, we went up over the top of everything, which the video shows, down into the other side, halfway down the mountain, calling all the way. And I think it was the last day, and 2 o'clock maybe in the afternoon. You think, Jag? Was it roughly
2:30? Yeah,
somewhere in that realm. And I'm thinking, man, this is it. And I wasn't even expecting anything anymore, because everywhere you go, it cries turkey. I mean, you look out at the pastures, you look at the woods, you look at the conditions and the food and the forage, and everything that's there just screams turkey at you. But Montana's so big that birds can disappear and hide forever, and they can just keep walking and you'll never find them. But we came into that canyon on the side of the mountain, probably 50-degree angle, and I just got out for the umpteenth time and not even expecting anything, make a call, and immediately got my head blown off. I'm like, oh my God, a gobble. Here we go, game on. Get out of the truck, get your gun, slide down the mountain into position. And yeah, and he is literally, sliding through loose rocks and shale to get down the mountain far enough away from the road with birds gobbling, all of our eyes wide. And, then it's game on. It turns into pretty much a 2-hour turkey hunt from that point. It wasn't easy.
So fun fact, where I killed that bird in 24 was literally 150 yards from where I called in Jeff's first bird in 2023.
Pretty funny. Yeah, you guys were whispering that as I'm calling and working these birds, probably, really slow and easy in the beginning. And we were using different sounds to sound like more than just the same bird, because I could tell they were gobbling hard. They wanted to come, but what they really were saying was, come over here. And I'm looking at Onyx, of course, and I'm thinking, over here where they are is down a valley, up a mountain, and we'd be in plain view. And I'm thinking, now I got to get Jagger back up the mountain, onto the road, drive up 2 ridges away so we can come back down on top of them on the other side of a mountain. So yeah, I mean, the video doesn't even show all that we went through. It gives you a good taste of it. But, once again, getting him up the mountain, I showed some of it as best possible. And this guy is clawing the rocks. His uncle is pushing him. His uncle is pulling him up the mountainside. I mean, it was hell. I mean,
it was a grind. We went down and called, and we could tell they didn't want to leave the ridge they were on. So then we had to climb back out of the hole we just came down, walk up the road, and slide down on top of them again. So I literally slid down the same mountain twice that I just crawled out of.
Yeah. And I'm videoing this, I'm trying to, document what this guy goes through. And at the same time, watching this and feeling absolutely heartless because I'm not helping, because I could easily be on the other arm dragging him up at the same time. Uncle Jeff has got the gun, the packs, all the stuff, and I'm letting them do their thing so I could, document it for the most part as honestly as I could.
You did help. You created a memory we'll never forget.
Yeah, amen to that. Amen to that.
And an incredible video. Honestly, I think it's one of your best, John. It's powerful.
Yeah, it's got a purpose. It's not just another turkey hunt. There's so much more to it. If people jump on and they see the campfire chat where I give Jagger a chance and Uncle Jeff and we're doing a chat. It opens with that. That might have been a mistake because it doesn't get the hits it ought to. Because I think a lot of people think that the rest of the video or the next video is just that. Push through it, but listen to what Jagger has to say about himself, his life, because then we finish the video with that hunt, and it's worth it because then you get to see the real hardcore grind that he goes through. And, I'm seeing it for the first time. So, yeah, it brings a tear to your eye, man. I mean, to see somebody work that hard. We may do a lot of miles in the back mountains on a turkey hunt most of the time because we want to work that hard and go that far. But, when Jagger's out there, he's grinding it, man. He's giving it all there is. And, go ahead.
One of my favorite stories, campfire stories, or not really a story, but a few words that we exchanged the very first night, right before bed. Uncle Jeff asked, "So what time you want to get up in the morning?" And you said, "I'd like to be out of here about 4:15. The look on his face was absolutely priceless.
He's like, "And why are we getting up at 4:00 in the morning to kill a turkey? It's pitch dark."
And to me and John, that's we do that every time we go out. And he's like, "Why?"
So you can hear the bird and have a clue. And out there, I mean, I was hoping to hear a goblin. We're driving up a couple thousand feet to get up above all the hilltops, and with a pin drop in the distance, no wind, no nothing, and to hear absolutely nothing answer back as the sun's coming up, and I'm like, oh God, it's going to be another day of this. Jeff's again, why are we out here?
Well, the cool thing is it ended with a turkey down, an incredible hunt, and an incredible story. So
yeah,
that's
awesome.
And
the best part about that is that was really convincing for Jeff too, because he hadn't seen, a real maneuvering, a chess move on turkeys. I mean, he's an elk hunter. He understands the whole process of the moving and the calling and the getting into position. But that day, if you watch the video at the end, you see it in his face. He gets it. He's like, yeah, I'm hooked. Don't tell my friends, but I'm a turkey hunter now. Because he got to see the chess move, the calling, the moves, the calling, closing the gap to get into the range where they are finally going to come in and take a peek. And to see it all come together and a bird down, everybody's in tears because we ground so hard for so many days. It was just such a relief to see it successful. And Jagger, good job with the aim. A tough shot at the last second. It gave you what you needed. But again, to me, honestly, as good as it was to see you have that success, for me, it was watching the interaction of you and Jeff and Jeff's face and his eyes. And, that just, it brought it all together. The video is really good.
Tom, he's a lot like you in the respect of spring bear hunting. And so he's like, why are we turkey hunting when I could be bear hunting? And so and Tom even made a point to put it in the video. I made it a point that entire weekend to prove to him why we turkey hunt and not bear hunt. And I think we paid it off pretty damn good.
Besides, if he had come, you would have killed him. Stud of a bear.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I would have killed that bear in a heartbeat.
And
it was a good video. My wife and I got to preview it at John's house while we were there hanging out with you and Dawn. And I mean, it definitely got me choked up, and it got my wife a little teary. And it was a good story, man. It was powerful. So I definitely hope that anybody listening to this will go back and give that a watch. So transitioning that experience, John, motivated you to get Jagger some more mobility and some more help. And the way you went about doing that is nothing short of a God-given opportunity and mission, man. Like, he worked through you and you got an incredible thing done for Jagger. So why don't you guys share that part of it too? You can start, John.
Well, I mean, for me, after experiencing that whole hunt and back home, putting it together and editing the video, and I'm sitting here looking at the pieces of it, and I'm showing it to Dawn, and like you learned, Tom. I mean, until you see it or you experience a portion of it, you don't get where my heart was at that time. And it's like, how I got to convince everybody of what, I'm impressed with this opportunity to do something more. I mean, I came home and I looked at Dawn. I'm like, this isn't enough. I mean, yeah, we killed the turkey. It was awesome. It was great camaraderie. It was an epic hunt, an epic time in the woods in the Montana mountains. But I need to do more. I felt compelled to do something, and I started flipping around on screens and looking at different companies and seeing what's out there for mobility. Because I mean, obviously Jagger's been getting around town, but he was relying on Uncle Jeff and family members to assist when necessary, right, Jag?
Yep.
Yep. So, and I'm thinking, this guy's you were turning 21 that year, right?
I
Yeah, and I'm thinking this guy needs more personal ability to go where he needs to go and do what he wants to do and get around in his own town for that matter. Just to be able to jump on something and take off. And so I just started talking to different companies and doing what we do, reaching out to Salt Creek Custom Ammunition, phenomenal company that catches on and wants to be a part of what we're doing. And, there's been so many over the years that we've reached out to. And it's not for personal gain. It's like, how can we bring people in that can help do the things that we want to do to help other people, for that matter? And, to me, I reached out and found Utah Trikes after quite a few other companies. Some wanted to help, some couldn't help. These guys, Utah Trikes, out of, where are they? Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain for it. Where is it? Utah Trikes. I can't remember the town. Anyway, they're in Utah, but they're pretty amazing. They build, trikes and all kinds of amazing equipment. I mean, they do all their own welding. They cut their tubes. They make their pieces and parts. And I was impressed by that. And, they reached back and they're like, heck yeah, let's do this. We have a design for a great quad. I've already tested it off-road. I'm a hunter, the head guy there that does a lot of the welding. He's like, we can do this. If you're willing to work with us, and we'll do a fundraiser. We'll try to help with that as well. And we'll give you the best possible deal we can. And believe me, they really did. So, that was the beginning. And that was my first time doing a hardcore fundraiser for a significant amount of money. And let me tell you, as Tom's already learning right now, this is a hard thing to do. When you're trying to inspire everybody else to feel the passion that you have for something is really good and is a worthwhile project, I mean, you got to sell that and you got to get people on board. And that's difficult. And none of us, we're getting hit all the time for, a penny here and a penny there. And initially I'm like, hey, the hunting community is a big family. Everybody's going to want to jump on board and be a part of this. Well, I'm sure everybody wants to, but it's not easy to do. I mean, everybody's trying to feed their family, put clothes on their kids, shoes on their feet, get them to school, and on it goes, one bill after another. So, you're asking for a buck. People just don't want to start doing it sometimes. And yeah, sure, if everybody that was following the channel was able to give $5, it would have been done in one night. But it doesn't work that way. You gotta inspire people. You gotta get them to hear the passion that you've had. You gotta get them to capture the picture. And a big shout out to all the game makers, the call makers, the personal call makers, the private guys like, James Harrison Custom Calls, Jason Phelps Game Calls. I mean, there's so many guys. James he reached out to all of his friends in the custom call making business. And granted, there's a lot of other people that jumped down with $5 here, $1 there, $10 here, $20 there, $50, $100. I mean, we needed thousands, and a lot of people did it. And I can't say thank you enough to anybody who's watching this that had a portion of it, whether it was a prayer or a penny. Thank you. But again, I just say to all the custom call makers who put auctions together and helped raise the big bucks, did a lot of custom stuff. Bruce Whalen too, who still continued to give in other ways afterwards. I mean, it never stops. And then we've all become that much bigger a family, that much tighter a family. And, we did something I think God was 100% behind as well.
I can honestly say I've been involved in a lot of things, but I'll tell you what, there's nothing like the hunt community, the outdoor community.
It's refreshing to hear that and to have seen it happen. Because, yeah, John, you're right, man. Like, trying to do my own fundraiser right now, and I'm not even going to talk about it because this isn't the time. This is about you guys and Jagger. But from that experience, I watched you and I knew it was hard, but yeah, it's hard to raise money. But yes, the hunting community is not a lack of heart. It's just, you put it well, John. We're getting hit left and right. Everyone wants money from us, whether it's for for-profit business or a non-profit business, and so many great causes out there. So my hat's off to you for making it happen. And yeah, my hat's off to the hunting community for banding together, especially the turkey hunting community and the call makers that did it. It's awesome. But, I think it's important that they hear from Jagger. I mean, this changed your life, right? This wasn't just a little gift. This was a big deal for you, I would imagine. Just the
freedom it gave me. Being able to go, before it was, if I wanted to go somewhere, I had to ask for a ride, wait for a ride. If I didn't have a ride, I didn't go. Which with my family being the way they are, I was very blessed, and I always got to do everything I wanted because they're there to support me. But having the freedom now of, well, if I want to go to coffee or I want to go downtown, I just hop on my wheels and go. And that's why,
that's awesome.
John said it, but I'm going to say it personally. I can't thank the hunt community enough.
Yeah, buddy, for sure.
I mean,
it's so good to come visit you and see you cruising through your town, even passing other cars.
What the hunt community did to make this happen truly means a lot. Because, like I say, now I can go have coffee with buddies. I can, when my uncle's on work trips, I go and check the horses.
Amen.
Which has been a big help to him as well.
Yeah.
You know what, Jagger,
Absolutely.
One of my favorite things that I'm hearing you say right now that really stands out to me, and just another testament to you, is that the first thing you lead with, I mean, yeah, you say it gave me the freedom, but the freedom to do more for Uncle Jeff. And I think you're really calling out the freedom that your family gets too, because you don't have to rely on them. I mean, that's got to be helpful for them, right? I mean, they want to help you, but how important is that to them that now it's for you to have that freedom too?
I mean, now, like I say, now if I want to do it, I just go.
That's awesome.
Good grief. Sorry, my phone is just acting on its own here.
That's a lot of phone calls for a retired guy.
It never ends.
Hey, when you get as big as John does in the turkey hunting industry, it never.
No, it's true. I mean, and shoot, John, you just made an East Coast. Both of us did. We made our East Coast debuts with Christian Outdoors podcast, which was a great episode. And plug that real quick if you haven't gotten a chance to know about Christian Outdoors podcast, folks. It is an excellent podcast hosted by Pete Rogers, and John did an excellent job talking about hunting turkeys in the Northwest. And that's a whole nother episode regarding Pete and Christian Outdoors and what we got coming up. But Jagger, that's amazing, man. And it just makes me so happy and inspired to see what you're doing, what this cart has done for you. And it's been an absolute pleasure to watch it.
It's not about
me,
though. It's not about me, though. It's about the people that made it happen for me.
That's a beautiful attitude, man. And I think we can echo that. And it is about you from our perspective because of the way you receive it and what you've done with your life. You haven't made it about your disabilities, again, for a lack of better terms. You've made it about what you can do and inspiring others. I've never heard you ask for anything, which I think is really incredible because I like to ask for stuff. I like things. So you're, again, man, just testament to who you are and what kind of man you have grown into be. That's huge. So good work, man. Good work. You're an inspiration.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought we just wanted to give them something to go turkey hunting in. I mean, that was part of it for sure. I'm like, there's mountains I wanted to take him up that I couldn't take him up all the way.
I mean,
but that was not the whole thing. It was really just mobility, for your personal gain to get around town. It was huge.
I will say I will say hunting in Washington with that thing was a blast.
Yeah, people haven't seen that yet, but we did finally get it at the end of last season. Unfortunately, it was really the very end of the season. The birds were kind of done, but you'll get to see Jagger going up stuff that only we could have done with our legs in the past. And I never would have been able to bring Jagger up so high to look down on valleys and see the fog rising and hearing turkeys gobble at a different level as if he hiked in there himself. And that thing went everywhere, man.
That's awesome.
So that video's coming.
That's awesome. Yeah, you got some
Another-
good videos. Go ahead, Jagger.
Another video that's coming is Idaho, and that was a blast.
Yeah. We have
I'm
some
jealous, man.
unbelievable hunts
Yeah.
that we did.
We had how many birds in front of us the first night? I don't even remember.
Dude, I couldn't count the tails. I mean, it is not even an exaggeration. I'm looking around with my head and I'm trying not to move my head too much, but from far right to far left and an acre plus out, no, not an acre, I would say 10 acres out in front of us, birds just kept pouring out of the woods to come in to roost up behind us. And it was just, it's the first time I've ever seen toms outnumber the hens. And not just like
incredible
toms and jakes, but mostly just big toms.
And then
hopefully you guys helped remedy that.
Yes.
So, well, we're shouting out to good people. How did you guys get access to that spot?
Ooh, that was through our good friend and Mossberg Company.
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah. Yep. And Josh. And it's funny, I actually reached out to Josh. So just so folks know who we're talking about, Josh is the West Coast sales rep for Mossberg, I think is his title. I hope I'm not getting that wrong, Josh. But Josh is an incredible giving guy. Got you guys hooked up with that. He's really taking good care of us, which is not just a testament to him, but a testament to Mossberg as a company with great customer service. Very happy with everything that he's done. But I approached him about coming on the show, and at first he was very like, I don't really want to do podcast. And he actually, months later, reached out and said he'd like to come on the show. So that's upcoming, and I'm really excited to have him come on.
Awesome.
Talk about turkey hunting. And congrats, Josh, because if you listen to this, I know you just killed a smoker of a whitetail buck, so good work. But yeah, shout out to Josh for the access to that property.
Yeah, I had a chance to do a lot of hunting with Mossberg, a lot of calling for them and with them at the same time, and it was a blast. That's a pile of videos to come from that couple of days out with them too. And then, Josh said, hey, there's this place you got to bring Jagger to. He goes, you haven't seen it yet. He goes, but, follow us and we'll drive there and I'll introduce you to the landowner. And yeah, it's private land, but holy cow. I mean, you think that's going to be easy when you see that many birds. It's really not. It's almost the opposite. Because I'm sitting there and, Jagger's in front of me and we just kind of watching this horde come into the field. And everywhere I looked, I'm thinking, I would not want to shoot this right now at all because there's too many birds for one thing, and there's birds behind birds, behind birds, behind birds, and there's no clean shots. And I'm thinking, this is not going to work. It'd be so much easier to get out of here and call one in the next day, which is kind of what it turned into. But we'll save that for the video.
I love it. Well, good deal. So as we kind of come to a conclusion here, Jagger, as we talked about, turkey hunting isn't the only thing that you do. You've done some involvement with the NWTF, the National Wild Turkey Federation, and that's awesome because that's all volunteer work and you kind of giving back to the wild turkey. So just a little bit in brief, what have you done with the NWTF?
Yeah, so last March, I actually got invited to my very first NWTF event ever by my good friend Eric Carter, who's the Washington chapter president. He invited me and my uncle Jeff both to come. So we went down there, and that was the very first ever event I went to. And, going down there and getting to sit with John and Don all night, talking turkey and just the atmosphere, I'm like, I want to be more involved. It's the National Wild Turkey Federation for a reason. It's all about turkey. And if it's about turkey, I want to be involved. So I'm like, how do I get more involved? And so I started doing some research and I got in contact with the Montana chapter president, who weeks later actually drove up and talked to me, and we came to the conclusion that we were going to have a bingo night fundraiser in my hometown of Libby, and that was this last June. And just getting to be a big part of hosting an event for them, and just be part of the contribution of the National Wild Turkey Federation and their mission for the wild turkey. It was truly incredible and something I'm very proud of being a part of. Great, family and just atmosphere. And, since then, I went over to the next town over and helped out with an event. And, hopefully this year we're going to be doing a couple more. I know next year when Washington has their banquet, I'll be back in Spokane. So the NWTF is family, and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, they're a huge part of turkey, conservation efforts in general. And I think folks that are listening from probably the southeastern part of the country really appreciate their efforts right now, as their turkey populations aren't booming like ours. So good work, man. Appreciate you doing what you have done with them. And yeah, I think we can all agree that if you're not a member,
opportunity to I hunt turkeys 64 days a season, but now being involved with them and getting to do events throughout the year, turkeys all the time, and that's what I want.
Love it. Would you say that membership with NWTF as a turkey hunter is important?
Absolutely, 100%.
Awesome. And I'm not trying to sell the NWTF, but I think, when you're out there hunting and fishing, that being a member of some sort of conservation organization, that whether it fits your interest and or not, I guess, is pick which one you want. But I think it's important to give back and contribute as a hunter. We do a lot of take, and yes, our licensed dollars go places, but I think it's important to get involved with those organizations. So I'm glad to see you doing it. I think should inspire others to do it.
Yeah, it's really important. They do a lot of conservation, maintaining the wild turkey, spreading it, and doing a lot of work in the land in different chapters across the nation. So, your money is definitely getting used.
Good deal. So, Jagger, I know you hunt turkeys 64 days a year, and you live turkey hunting 365, but somehow you managed to fit in some other things. You got some adventures in the woods coming up here, some wintertime fun. From what I understand, you were boiling traps today.
Yes.
Talk to us about what you got going on with those.
I was boiling traps yesterday, today, and probably 2 or 3 more days next week. December 15th is the opener for the wolf trapping season in Northwest Montana.
Get them.
Being a big-time hunter, people got to understand that predator control is a big part of that, too. And so I feel as an outdoorsman, as a hunter, it's just as much our responsibility to deal with the predators as it is the prey. And my good buddy Gary, who I actually met through his wife because his wife was a leader at the local youth group I go to for our church. I met her several years ago, and, I don't hide what I live for. I live for hunting, and so I talk about it all the time. And she quickly realized, as most of you do, that I live for hunting, and she's like, you got to meet my husband. You guys will click right off the bat. So we, exchanged numbers and started talking, and that following weekend, I actually followed him on the trap line for the very first time, and one weekend led to another, and did that for 2 or 3 seasons, and then they actually moved for a couple years, so I didn't get to do it the last couple seasons. But this last October, beginning of October, they moved back. So this winter, dogs are in trouble because we are on the trap line.
That's awesome, man. What kind of equipment are you using when you go out there? Snowmobiles? Are you guys driving trucks where you can? How are you guys accessing the country?
Side-by-side with tracks.
Nice, man. That's a good way to get around the snow. I've gotten a chance to use those before. Good deal. About how many traps you guys put out?
I think right now we got 44 or 46.
That is a lot of traps. How long does it take you guys to check that trap line, and how often do you check it?
Because we have so many, we interchange days, but we're checking every day.
And how long do you have those traps out?
The whole season. So December 15th through, I think it's middle of February-ish. I don't know. I'm honestly going to have to go check the regs because they changed the date this year. They shortened our season.
Gotcha.
It's a huge commitment.
That is a huge commitment.
But like I say, as a fellow outdoorsman and hunter, I do firmly believe that being a part of predator control is a big part. Because
Absolutely.
well, even down in Idaho and Washington, I'm sure you guys will agree, the elk numbers and deer numbers are not the same as they used to be, thanks to primarily the wolves. I mean, you got bears and lions, but the wolves are a major problem. At least up in Montana, anyway.
Yeah, we experience it, here in a lot of different parts of Idaho, and the wolves have moved in and done some damage. And it's interesting conversation for a whole nother show kind of thing. But, it seems to be, at least my take on it is, great, we have wolves here. I understand why some people wanted them, from a nostalgia, native species type of standpoint. Could we have done without bringing them back? Yeah, well, that probably would have been okay too. But I like wolves. I think they're really cool animals. I think that it's great that they're on the landscape. I think it just kind of fits the the nostalgia of being in the North. That being said, I am hands down, like, let's manage the heck out of them. I think we should be managing grizzly bears at a state level in Idaho and Montana and Wyoming. And they have met recovery goals just like wolves and should be managed and hunted. With the whole wolves being the cause of the downfall of all hunting and elk and deer and stuff like that, I think that it's a little bit of like a death from a thousand cuts, and I think wolves were just kind of a bigger cut. And I heard it explained really well one time where it was that we got used to a level of predation with lions and bears, and when you added wolves, we saw a decrease. And so, like, you as hunters that really, we're paying attention to numbers. I mean, that we noticed it, right? But, when you look at the grand scheme of who kills more animals, I think it was actually mountain lions tend to kill more elk and deer. But, like, wolves were kind of like the tipping point. Wolves pushed it over the edge. So as what we noticed, and what elk and deer herds that weren't used to that predator anymore could handle.
Yeah, definitely some tipping points, and it made them quieter too. It took some of the fun out of it to some degree.
Yeah, and ask anybody that goes up and hunts in Jagger's neck of the woods or on our side in Idaho, the state line in the same area. Well, elk don't talk.
Often. Not like they used to, anyway.
Yeah, as much as they don't talk as much as they used to. I just was up in your neck of the woods hunting deer, Jagger, on the Idaho side of the state line. It was actually the same time that John went and visited you just recently. And, every morning I was hearing wolves out in the woods. So.
It's just like I said, it's something to do in the winter, get out in God's country, and, I love it.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're out there doing it.
Everybody else is sitting at home and doing nothing and complaining. Jagger's out there dragging himself through the mountains of Montana. So get off your butts, people.
More cold days of going through deep snow.
Yeah, love it, man.
I was talking to John earlier, and he's like, "You can bring some of those traps down here."
Yeah, to Idaho, of course, not Washington.
Yeah, of course, Idaho, not Washington. We wouldn't do Washington.
That. Yeah. So that's all awesome stuff, Jagger. Again, inspirational. I think that's great. I love you're not the first person I've heard talk about that being a responsibility we're taken from prey species, and we love these animals. People that don't understand hunting think we're just out there to kill, but we do love these animals that we chase. We love turkeys, we love elk, we love deer, and And it is our responsibility to help with the predator management and to give back and help the herd numbers and species continue to recruit and reproduce and be there for future generations. So that's awesome. That all being said, do you have any concluding thoughts, Jagger? Anything else that you'd like to share or tell the listeners before we sign off tonight?
I want to elaborate on going back to that card. I just want to thank everybody that was involved.
And I know they're extremely happy and thankful to have had an opportunity to make a difference in your life, buddy.
I also want to give a thank you to both John and Tom for being a big part of my life the last 3 years. You guys are amazing.
I mean, that's it. We're not doing it anymore after this. This is kind of the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're on your own now, buddy.
See ya.
We do, and it's been an honor, man. You motivate me, and it's just a pleasure and an honor, and I feel like we have a lot to contribute and do together. I'm looking forward to sharing some turkey camps in the future and more podcasts. John and I were kind of planning our, turkey series that we'll do this spring for the podcast, and guarantee you, Jagger, you're going to be back for that. So we've got a lot coming up, but yeah, man, the honor is all mine. It's all my pleasure. I'm just grateful that you were willing to come on and share your story.
John knows turkey. I just pretend to.
I feel like
you're learning so much pretty soon.
Huh?
I feel like you're starting to get the hang of it.
Oh, I've known since day one. Why do you think I hunt with him? Just kidding. Appreciate you, John. Appreciate you, Tom.
You don't forget, folks, Turkeyslayers406 on Instagram. Stop in and say hi.
Stop in, say hi. Stop in, say hi, and I'm always willing to talk turkey.
Yeah, I bet you if you ask nice, he'll give you a personal phone call and probably spend some time giving you some tips and tactics if you are hunting in the Northwest.
Or I'll just refer you to John because he's the turkey whisperer.
Yeah, thanks for all the extra phone calls.
Well, good deal, fellas. John, you got any concluding thoughts before we sign out of here?
I would say I'll throw a pitch out there for Tom. He's working really hard to get a couple of drift boats for an extremely good cause, as good as any cause I've been a part of. And Protector's Peak, look them up. Tom's involved there as a guide and a mentor as well. And I think it's totally worth the effort. If you know anybody that's got one that's sitting around, they don't use it much anymore, maybe, anything, people, if you're connected in some way, I would reach out to Tom and, help him out with this, because the kind of guys and the soldiers and police officers and all kinds of amazing people that make our lives better and safer all the time is who he's trying to help. So it's not for him to get a drift boat. Tom has connections if you want to just go out. This is about him giving back and making a place that much more special.
100%, man. I mean, just like with the podcast, I'm here to share stories and get, people inspired to get out there and do things like Jagger does. And again, I didn't want to make the show too much about my fundraiser, but I appreciate it. You're right. Hunting season's kind of bogged down my fundraising because I'm busy out in the woods just like everybody else is right now. But as we're getting to a conclusion, for the most part, my wife and I still have some hunting to go do, which is going to be a blast. But yeah, we're going to get into the fundraiser hardcore. John's right. This isn't about me getting a drift boat. I have plenty of options and opportunities to get on boats. Boat will be property of Protector's Peak. It's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping it happens. It's just like
because they're right on the water. I mean, their property's right there.
Yep. And it's just like, I don't know if it's right to compare Jagger's situation, but just picture a disabled veteran, coming out to go fishing, and right now we can only walk and wade fish. And if I have a veteran that can't walk and wade, he can't fish. So this boat will give somebody like that veteran access to the water. It'll give us access to more water, more fishing. And even if people don't want to fish when they come to the retreat, because we have a lot of, we have a lot of ladies that want to come and fish, but we have a lot of men and women that they're just not interested. They didn't want to buy a license or whatever it was. But you know what? They might enjoy a nice float down the river. We can accommodate that and just give them a nice experience that they deserve. So it's a pretty awesome thing that we're doing. And we are also trying to raise money too for some snow equipment, because we want to expand into doing winter retreats, because we just opened up registration for our summer 2026 retreats, and we're pretty much full within about 48 hours. All of our marriage retreats filled up in 5 hours. So, there's a huge need. We're trying to get creative on how to expand opportunity to get more folks served through Protectors Peak, but we'll probably do some update episodes on that. But yeah, appreciate that, John. Thanks for the plug.
Yeah, you bet. It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, good deal, guys. Jagger, John, thank you so much. I could talk to you guys forever. Just so glad that you guys came on the show tonight. I'm excited. I think I say this every episode, but I think it's going to be my favorite episode to date. That was a good one, man. So appreciate you guys. Folks, I pay money to do this podcast, so I'm not asking for money, but it would definitely be a help if you like, subscribe, comment, and just interact with the show, whether you do it on Facebook, Instagram, but it'd be super helpful if you interacted with us on whatever platform you're listening on. We're Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Audible. One of these days I'll get Apple Music figured out. I just am technologically slow and haven't gotten that dialed yet, but we'll get there. But yeah, interact with the show, please. And let me know what you guys want to hear. There's topics that I know a lot of people like pack dumps and stuff like that. I haven't done it because I just feel like there's a ton of pack dumps out there, and I personally am not interested in a whole lot of pack dump stuff anymore. But if that's something that the listeners want and want to do it, if you guys want Q&A episodes with John or me or Jagger or any of the guests that I've had, or let me know so I can better get information that you guys find relevant. So interact with us, all the things. All righty.
Very good.
Enough said.
Lots more to come.
Lots more to come. Until next time, go out and pursue.
And Tom, can I add one more thing?
Yeah, go for it.
For all you listening, if you guys want a turkey call, I did come out with a Turkeyslayers406 glass pot call. So go to my Turkeyslayers406 Instagram, and you can check out that link. And I'll tell you what, I'm not biased or anything, but it's all turkey.
All right, so Turkeyslayers406 Instagram. You want a good glass? You said glass call.
Yeah.
Pot call. Awesome, man. Go get glass. Glass is great, and glass puts them on the grass. Boom. So there you go, Jagger. I love it. I will check that out. I did see that you had done that, so we'll get that. I'll check that out. See if I can't throw one of those in my turkey vest this spring. Awesome. Well, thanks, fellas. We got more to talk about, so we'll do more shows. In the meantime, get out there, keep pursuing freedom in the outdoors, and I appreciate you and all of our listeners. See ya. Thanks again. And if this resonates with you, I want to welcome you to the tribe and encourage you to share this podcast with your friends. Hit subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Pursuing Freedom Outdoors. And if you or someone you know has a great story about life or the wilderness, I want to share it. You can shoot me a message on Instagram or email me with all inquiries and questions at thomas@pursuingfreedomoutdoors.com. That's Thomas, THOMAS, at pursuingfreedomoutdoors.com. Until next time, get out there, get after it, and pursue freedom in the outdoors. Before we get started, I want to thank our first partner, Response Ready Medical. Response Ready Medical, bringing our customers the best quality training and equipment for the worst case scenario. Response Ready Medical's vision is to be the leading provider of emergency preparedness solutions across the United States, empowering communities, organizations, and individuals to respond confidently and preserve life during critical moments. Offering same-day certification, all response-ready medical classes are instructed by nationally registered and state-licensed firefighter, paramedics, law enforcement officers, and hospital staff. Classes currently being offered by response-ready medical include CPR and AED, CPR, AED, and first aid, emergency trauma care, child and babysitting safety, CABS, backcountry medicine, and wilderness first aid. Your premium partner in emergency preparedness, Response Ready Medical.